everyone, and today we'll be drawing characters from the colorful Roblox horror game, Dandy's World. It's a game where you complete puzzles with others as you try to escape twisted versions of characters, and today I'll be drawing them as humans. The first character is Poppy. However, she is a starter character you get in the game once you load in, alongside with Boxen. However, if you don't choose Poppy, you can always go back and buy her later for 250 Ecor. She appears as a small bubble girl with a pink bow on her head with a round bubble looking thing in the back of her head resembling a ponytail, along with a pink dress and yellow and pink socks to go with. She is mostly described as a bubbly character who enjoys socializing with other toons. Not many people like Poppy because she's been a beginner character due to her not possessing any crazy abilities, though she's a great starter character. Though this isn't the only version of Poppy that you'll see, you'll most likely run into Twisted Poppy, since she is more common as a Twisted. She appears with her bow drenched slightly ripped, as her socks are also drenched in Ecor. Her eyes are now bloodshot red, her smile now turned into a frown. With that being said, Poppy no longer looks like her usual self. There is a twisted version of each character in the game. When a twisted sees you, they will spot you. And it's in your best interest, if you want to make it to the next floor, to get away as quickly as possible, if you don't want to get killed. To get to the next floor, you have to complete all the puzzles on the map, which are called extractors. They are scattered all around the map in various places. Once you complete, you quickly need to get to the elevator before the panic timer runs out. Ecor is the game form of currency. Causes the other toons to transform and twists as well, which currently is unknown how this happens. Since Poppy is described as a bubbly and social, I decided to draw her smiling and being a goob. Making her sleeves of her dress bubbly looking, I gave her a pearl necklace to give more roundness to her. I felt like her hair would have been almost swirly looking. I gave her an almost looking cinnamon shape of a ponytail in the back of her head, her bow being as big and pink as always, with a yellow in the middle. Added some shading and voila! And of course I didn't forget about Poppy's twisted form. Here is human Poppy. Toon on the list is Goob. Goob appears with long arms to reach players from afar, pulling them to him. And he has a sibling made out of paper, Scraps. He has a square-shaped head with a goofy and cute facial expression along with many areas of fur, so he may resemble an animal of some sort. His most prominent feature is his long arms, so long that they drag on the floor, with them being red and blue and its claws being the opposite color as well. His personality is described as innocent and joyful. He loves giving his friends hugs to make them feel better. He is also very easily excited. So Goob acts like a little kid in short terms. His special ability is called Hug, being able to pull other toons towards his position. Though, other toons need to be in direct line of sight and has a cooldown of 30 seconds, and also one of the fastest toons in the entire game. Once Goob transforms into a twisted, he no longer has a joyful expression, but one that looks like he's in pain, looking distraught. Just like Poppy, his eyes are now red. He's super sharp with Ecor on several parts of his body, and pouring out of his eyes like tears. In his twisted form, his claws are now much longer, his fur is sharp. Unlike Poppy, Goob is rare, and also not surprisingly, he is a lot harder to escape. Because once he sees you, he can instantly attack you and try to grab you every 10 seconds, and the only way to avoid being grabbed is to hide behind objects to block him from doing so. So that means big rooms are a no-go with Twisted Goob. For Goob's human form, I drew him with a smile, brown and blue eyes, with freckles, scruffy hair, and a sweater, being multicolored to resemble his body and his long arms. And with some brown shorts. Here is human Goob. The third toon on his list is Scraps, Goob's paper sister, also heavily resembling a cat with pointed ears, a hexagon head with circle hands and feet with claws. Her dress is an upside-down cupcake lantern. Scraps loves making crafts and artwork, being kind to other teens, especially her little brother Goob. She's also described as somewhat airheaded and maybe a bit immature at times. But nonetheless, she's a great friend. Twisted Scraps is a very rare type of Twisted. Appearing with grayed out skin, her facial expression is psychotic, with a wide smile and sharp teeth. Her claws are now sharper as well as her dress, with a plastic cuff on her tail now split down the middle, having transformed into a snake-like mouth. Ecor can be seen on several parts of her body, so when you see her, she should most definitely be avoided. As similar to Twisted Goob, her ability allows her to attack players from afar. When she spots you, she can quickly send her tail towards you, hitting you, taking your heart away. Since she attacks are so far range, it's better to stay near objects so that you can circle around, so she doesn't get the chance to attack you. Luckily, her speed is very slow, and it's much easier to get away, unlike Twisted Goob. In terms of stats, she has great stamina out of basically any of the other toons. However, the rest of her stats are pretty average. Her ability, Crafty Grabble, allows her to pull herself towards other toons, targeted position just like Goob. Needs being direct line of sight. I drew Scraps with a slightly swoopy hairstyle with those pointed ears, now into a headband, still gave her tail with her plastic cup, and put her in a gray dress and gave her hexagon earrings. Here is Human Scraps. Next toon on this list is Teagan, resembling a teacup with golden eyeshadow and droopy black eyes with 2 eyelashes on the bottom. She wears a long v-neck dress, which also the same shade as her eyeshadow. With light golden stars on her dress, she wears 2 golden gloves and holds a fluffy white boa shawl around her neck. She has sweet tea inside her head, which is confirmed with her dialogue with Finn. She also has a black bottom lip. She's described as a kind toon who likes to invite other toons to her tea gatherings, memorizing their favorite kinds of tea, which is also proven by their interactions. She is also calm and composed, keeping etiquette, making sure that no Ecor gets on her boa. Her ability is tea time. She can spin 100 tapes to heal themselves by 1 heart. Her stats are pretty average as well. A lot of people headcanon that she's part of the Toodles family, which is Rodger, father, Teagan, mother, Finn as the oldest, Shrimp as the middle child and adopted, Toodles as the youngest sibling. Teagan is the first toon to have a set of pronouns, the second being Loey. Fun fact is that Rodger and Teagan both say simply marvelous when finishing machine. When encountering Twisted Teagan, her mouth and base of her arms are covered in Ecor. Her boa is missing. With her eyes bloodshot red and seems angry, her bottom part of her handle is slightly covered in Ecor. Her dress is no longer as long as it used to be, but teared and shortened. She is an uncommon Twisted as well. She steals tapes from you if she manages to hit you. I drew Teagan as a young woman with orange shiny dress, curly brown hair, and golden eyeshadow. Her boa around her arms. I drew Twisted Teagan the same way, with with her dress shortened, kept her boa, with Ecor on her arms, dripping from her face down her neck, with some Ecor on the bottom of her dress. Here's Human Teagan. Next toon is Toodles, a gray head with almost black 8-ball with a white spot on her forehead. She wears a white sleeve dress with a gray hoodie with 2 black drawstrings hanging from it. She always has a playful grin on her face that reveals her teeth. She's described as energetic and optimistic toon who likes helping out and likes to prove herself capable for her age and wants to help. Her stats are above average or below average, with her stealth being above average. Her ability is called Beginner's Luck. When activated, you can roll for a 15% boost in a random stat for the last 10 seconds. Each color means something different. Orange, meaning skill checks, yellow being movement speed, green being max stamina, blue being stealth, and purple being extraction speed. But once she is transformed to a Twisted, she appears with her 8-ball broken with Ecor inside of it, which dripping out of her head. Pretty gruesome, right? Usually playful grin was placed in open mouth, seeming excited or hungry, revealing sharp teeth, with Ecor dripping from her mouth. Her right hand and her legs are covered and stained in Ecor. Toodles is the youngest toon in the game, but known to be the only child amongst the toons, which explains her eagerness to prove that she can be useful, and her curiosity. Here is Human Toodles. The last toon of the day is Rodger's. He appears as a brown magnifying glass with a single eye resting in the middle of his eyes squinted from above, either from exhaustion, distrained, or focus. His hand is an almost light purplish blue band that goes around it. He wears a gray, almost black tuxedo jacket with dark blue lapels and cuffs, as well as a white undershirt and a frilly jabot in the same color of the band around his handle. He seems to have no noticeable pants, which either in his design, so I drew some anyway, obviously. Rodger is described as a smart toon who thinks rather logically. He enjoys interrogating other toons about themselves. Although he can get quite nosy, though, he still tries to look out for the safety and well-being of other toons. His stats are all average, besides his extraction speed, which is 4-star. His ability is called Detective, which means this toon can obtain twice the amount of research from capsules when encountering Twisted. Although as a Twisted, he disguises himself as a research capsule, waiting for any trick player to grab it. He appears with 2 debuffs, Confusion and Slow. He takes a heart of damage once attacked. To avoid this Twisted, you need to look closely at the capsules if the straps are missing. Do not grab those for that is Rodger. And escape very quickly as if possible to get out his lane of sight before it's too late. If you pick it up, he appears his eyes wide open, his e-core splashing around the end of his magnifying glass. With the eyes wide open, with the e-core splashing around the end of his magnifying glass. With his legs fully covered in e-core, rendering him completely immobile. I drew Rodger as a young male with a suitcase and blackish brown hair and a similar suit, looking like he's focused or analyzing you. Here is Human Rodgers.